Are we okay? Am I okay? Because I'm making a video about the show Supernatural in the year 2021. Cringe culture is deceased, gone, dead. It's time. This is my prediction. I kept poking fun at the show, more specifically the superwholock fandom, for years because they would just spread 2 feet long posts of just GIFs all over Tumblr. Back in 2015 was a trip because, you know, occasionally you just find a nice cryptic post and then it's just 2 feet long post of Supernatural, it's Tuesday, we're vlogging every Tuesday. What are you talking about? What am I talking about? So hi, I'm Lloyd, and the job today is for me to steer this vessel and talk about Supernatural. This is just gonna be chaos. I said I was going back to 2012 Tumblr, and I intend on doing that. It started out as an ironic thing, and now we're here. Deeped and dived. Also, for those who are new to my channel, hi. My content isn't usually like this, but it can be if you want it to be. Now, before I go into it, no offense to the cast and crew of Supernatural. I found enjoyment out of the show. Granted, that was partially because I was watching it like a weirdly scripted comedy, but I do see why the show in itself is so popular. I hope you have a nice year. So let's start off with why this is happening, why I'm making this. So I was looking for a Christmas present idea I could make for Max, and it just so happened that the finale of Supernatural had recently aired, and Max didn't like how they ended the character arc for Castiel, so I wanted to make a plush of him to cheer Max up. Now, if you've been following the absolute, you could say, turbo hell that has been the Supernatural situation recently, Castiel may ring a bell. You know, this man who got a little bit too fruity, and then the show said it's time to go. So to explain, the scene happened, and in that scene, Castiel pulls a full homo, which is pretty funny because it's pretty much the opposite of the show, which is basically wrapped in a homo joke. I'm sorry, I'm just remembering all the posts that were all over Tumblr where it's just Castiel pouring his heart out to Dean and just crying while Dean's just there with this look of concern on his face that also kind of looked like a mask. Now, I get that the character is supposed to be repressed, but from an outside looking in perspective, I saw it on Tumblr with people losing their everything about it. It was pretty funny. Now, I personally say that in a repressed way, but it's not time to unpack all that. So then Castiel is gulped down by this dark, black, CGI, FX, ooze, whatever you want to call it, that either looks like Venom or the Schmooze from the 1980s My Little Pony movie. He also gets sucked down this tunnel thing, but if I have to look that up and research it, you will never see me again. So that happened, and then the next 2 episodes happened where Sam and Dean fight the big sad, and then they Santa Claus in a new god, because the old god went corrupt. So the new god is Jack, who is half human, half angel, Lucy's baby, and basically Castiel's adopted son. But I don't know why they wanted the new god to be this boy who looks ambiguously between the ages of 15 and 20. Which does sound kind of funny coming from me. But how they get to that is they have to fight this guy named Chuck, who was originally labeled a prophet, and then turned out to be God. I don't know. I haven't watched the middle seasons, and it's a trip of a lifetime, apparently. So to explain without sounding like an absolute, Sam and Dean fight Archangel Michael, who is using their brother as a vessel, which if you don't know what vessels are, they're basically humans who consent to angels using their bodies like a VR headset. So that's happening with their brother. I believe his name is Adam. Yep, Adam. Do you believe there is a metaphor in there somewhere? So they're fighting Michael, and then they fight Chuck God, and then Jack, who apparently has the power to absorb all their punches, absorbs all those punches, and then makes God's brain go brrr, so he stops being God, and then he heals the brothers because they got all their limbs royally handed to them because you're fighting God. And then Jack just reformed the world, which I didn't even mention that Chuck God had erased all of living life except Sam and Dean to make them big sad. Don't worry, I'm confused too. But I did only watch the last 2 episodes and the scene. Okay, also a bunch of episodes when there was a marathon of it back in 2016, but I didn't remember doing that until I was watching episodes on Netflix while doing the project for Max. Yeah, that's why I said in a repressed way earlier. So that was only the second to last episode, y'all. So the last episode has what a fan has theorized as the fans getting pied. So the episode starts out with Sam and Dean going to a pie festival, which is a reference to Dean really liking pie. And then they do the usual Monster of the Week plot line, which was a thing back in the earlier episodes. Wait. Oh my god. I forgot. Backstory time. I'd apologize for this video being all over the place, but so is the show, so life imitates art. So let's go over one of the most valid characters of the show. His name's Castiel, he's an angel, and yes, he's doing that thing where he sock puppets a person. I get that it's normalized in the show, but it still makes me feel off. So Castiel is introduced in the beginning of Season 4 because, well, at the end of Season 3, Dean went to hell because he had made a deal with a demon because Sam had died, so in return for Sam coming back to life, Dean would go to hell eventually. You know, simple stuff. So Season 4 has Dean rising out while digging himself out of a grave with a hand mark burned onto his shoulder. So then he meets back up with the crew, Sam and Bobby Singer, who has been a father to him and Sam. So then they go to see a psychic who, after commanding to see Castiel's true form, has her eyes melted. Because, you know, humans cannot see angels' true forms because it can be overwhelming to humans. So they're hyping this guy up. This, what they assume is a demon or an evil entity. So this leads us into a barn. Shadows, darkness. Then suddenly, there are crashes, lights exploding, and we see this form slowly walking towards them, and it turns out to be this scowling man in a trench coat. But eventually, shadows of wings rise behind him. This is Castiel, and they're a bit perplexed. Dean also stabs him, and it doesn't affect him, but that's not important. So this is the little angel man that starts out being very soldier of God. We must follow him. Like, you're very close to blasphemy. That sort of thing. And yes, you're very close to blasphemy is a line he says to another angel. Oh my god, I forgot his first line to Dean. Wait, it's so funny. Wait! He walks into frame, maintaining eye contact with Dean, and says, I'm the one who gripped you tight and raised you from perdition. Straight-faced and all. I was on the floor. Now, I get that it's a dramatic reveal, and that he's already pretty connected to Dean, because Max told me that Cass had basically pieced back together every part of Dean, including his soul, while raising him from hell. Which, when you look at it like that, it's very dramatic, emotional, maybe even heartwarming. But again, from the outside looking in perspective, I'm at my limit. So it's technically time to rewind video-wise. The last episode has Sam and Dean going to a job in a barn. Because kids are being stolen and eaten or something. Now the poor fans were really hoping this would be a great time for Cass to come back to us. He came to us in a barn. Maybe he'll return to us in a barn. But then a fight happens and a blow is taken by the main character, Mr. Dean. A vampire in a clown mask throws him back into a barn beam, which has a comically large nail sticking out of it. So he's stabbed and unfortunately perishes with the wish to not return, but not before a Sam and Dean scene happens that people were a bit confused about. Now, I'm not going to even touch the mental stuff with Dean not wanting to return, because I just know there are people who could explain it way better than I ever could. So to summarize it, Dean goes to heaven, and there is only a sentence between him and Bobby that mentions Cass. Not an appearance, not a single feather, just mostly Dean driving his car, which got sent to heaven for some reason. And then other stuff happens, but I don't care enough to talk about it. Besides them playing 2 versions of Carry On Wayward Son within 10 minutes. Just, there were choices made. So all of that brings us to the fact that I've been watching episodes on Netflix and just diving in a little bit. But I've been using my 2 brain modes. My bro mode brain and my looking for queer subtext brain. So looking at certain scenes, say the one from Season 5, Episode 18. It's one where Sam, Dean, Cass, and Bobby are at Bobby's house. Bobby has this large, bunker dungeon thing in his basement, and for some reason, Dean is in it. And at this point, the whole explanation thing isn't exactly necessary. Just know Dean was thinking over the decision of letting Archangel Michael use him as a vessel, which made Cass very angry. So let's set the stage. Dean is in the bunker. Sam walks in. The bunker door is right here. And Cass is standing so he can be seen in the bunker doorway. But he's standing there with this absolute scowl on his face with his usual squinting eyes. And Dean is there with this look of confusion on his face. And he says, "So Cass, not for nothing, but the last person who looked at me like that, I got laid." Then he winks for some reason, because why not? And when I saw this scene, I fell from laughing. But at the same time, I was using the bro mode and queer subtext searching modes of my brain. And for the bro mode, yeah, you can see it as a haha bro joke. And for the queer subtext search in mode, what was the reason? And am I looking too much into this? You know, while we're on the subject, would you sit in the backseat of his car? So, you know, I continued watching this in the background while making project to get, you know, Easter eggs and what the vibe should be for the cast plushie I'm making Max. And then since Christmas happened and I didn't have it ready, I showed him the Max, and then Max demanded a Dean one within 2 weeks. You know, lovingly demanded, like the show. So I kept watching for Dean Easter eggs and how his clothes are supposed to fit him. Well, how both of their clothes are supposed to fit them, because it's a whole confusing mess for me. So I've been looking at these men for a month, just scrolling through Google Images to find cast character refs and Dean refs, and then looking through the show. So I started watching this show for references and the funny situations, and suddenly I'm hip deep in the apocalypse and pink for some reason. I kind of like it though. The chaos, that is. You know what keeps the chaos up? The fact that I started Netflix binging it with the Christmas episode, which is season 3, episode 8, because I was watching it while making the cast plushie, and I wanted to, I guess, set the mood. Oh, and then I skipped to season 4, episode 1, because I have taste. So not knowing much about the show makes it all the better, all the sweeter for me. So I do believe my last month, has been influenced by Cass confessing feelings to Dean, and Dean replying with, "Can you ask me that again in Spanish?" These last 3 months, and destiel getting confirmed 4 times, have felt like a lifetime. A whole apocalypse, if you will. So to everyone who's still helling, heck yeah, man, I hope destiel gets confirmed 6 times for the good old lucky Lucy number. Hey, one more thing. Since Sherlock and Supernatural have ended, we only have one more show to vanquish before superwholock is no longer for a current show. How long is that going to take, though? Another 30 years? So thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to have a conversation about today's topic in the comments, I'm always open. Also, while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content, because if this gets popular, I will continue to do more of it. And if you would like me to do videos on the rest of superwholock to say, collect the whole trifecta, tell me, and I might. Also, credit to those who've watched the whole show. While scripting this video, I was watching compilations on YouTube, and the lines that were said in there made me go into shock at least twice. And for those who've watched through this whole thing, I award you with 1 angel blade to protect yourselves through the next phase. I hope you're having a wonderful day, night, whatever you want. Thanks for watching. Bye.